Trust. It is the invisible glue of human civilization, a bridge built on mutual faith, allowing us to build, to trade, to connect. But for a select few minds, trust is not a bridge. It is a weapon. It is a master key, capable of unlocking our deepest vulnerabilities, our most secure vaults, and our common sense. The year is 1925, Paris. In a luxury suite at the Hotel de Crillon, a man known as Count Victor Lustig calmly reads his newspaper. His eyes catch a small story. The city's icon, the Eiffel Tower, is decaying from neglect. It is rusting, and the government is openly discussing the massive, perhaps impossible, cost of its upkeep. Most people would see this as a tragedy, a problem of engineering or public finance. Lustig saw an opportunity. Welcome to PsycheLens Narratives. Today, we are not dissecting the mind of a killer. We are dissecting the anatomy of performance, the blueprint of an illusion. We are putting under the lens the minds of the genius manipulators who fooled millions, shook empires, and rewrote history. This isn't just about what they did. This is about why they succeeded. This is about the fundamental exploitable flaws in all of us. Part 1. The Principle of Audacity, Victor Lustig. The first and most important principle of a grand deception is not, as you might think, secrecy. It is its polar opposite, audacity. The greatest lie must be so enormous, so utterly brazen, that no rational person would believe anyone would dare to invent it. Victor Lustig was a grandmaster of this art. Upon reading that article, he forged a set of highly convincing, official-looking government documents, identifying himself as the Deputy Director General of the Ministry of Posts and Telegraphs. He then invited the 6 biggest scrap metal dealers in Paris to a secret, high-level meeting at the hotel. Let's apply the PsycheLens. In Lustig's mind, there is no fear. There is only absolute theatrical control. He wasn't acting like an authority figure. He was the authority. This is the Cialdini principle of authority in its purest form. His suit, his government stationery, the secrecy of the meeting, it all signaled legitimacy. He whispered to the dealers that the Eiffel Tower's maintenance costs were astronomical. The government, he confided, had secretly decided to sell it for scrap, and this was a state secret. He wasn't just selling metal. He was selling access. He was gifting them an opportunity of a lifetime, tapping into the powerful psychological trigger of reciprocity. They felt special, chosen. One dealer, André Poisson, was the most ambitious, but also the most suspicious. Lustig, a brilliant reader of men, sensed this. In a stroke of pure psychological genius, he pulled Poisson aside and confessed that his government salary was not enough to maintain his lifestyle. He was asking for a bribe. What could be more real than a corrupt official? The final wall of suspicion evaporated. Poisson paid for the tower. He also paid the bribe. Lustig took the cash, a small fortune, and boarded a train to Vienna the next day. Poisson, crippled by the humiliation of being fooled, never went to police. Lustig's genius was not in the forgery. It was an understanding that to bypass a man's logic, you must first appeal to his ego, his greed, and his assumptions. And then, a few months later, he returned to Paris and tried to sell the Eiffel Tower a second time. That is audacity. Part 2. The Weaponization of Trust, Frank Abagnale. The second principle of deception is not simply to imitate authority, but to become it. This is identity assimilation. Frank Abagnale Jr.'s story, immortalized in Catch Me If You Can, is a masterclass in exploiting human psychology. When he ran away from home at 16, he was a lonely, broke teenager. He realized quickly that to survive, he had to exploit the one thing people give away for free, their blind, intoxicating trust in uniforms. Abagnale wanted to be a Pan Am pilot. Did he take flying lessons? No. He analyzed the performance of being a pilot. He studied how they looked, how they talked, how they walked with that unearned confidence. A fake ID, a well-tailored uniform, and a deep understanding of cognitive bias were all he needed. When people expect to see a pilot, their brain wants to confirm that expectation. This is confirmation bias. No one in that airport wanted to believe the man in the crisp uniform was a 16-year-old kid. So they didn't. For 2 years, he deadhead on over 250 flights, treated like royalty. But this was just his first act. In Georgia, he moved into an apartment. The tenants, seeing his credentials, started calling him doctor. So he became a doctor. He supervised interns at a local hospital. How? He never did any real work. He used the art of delegation, the art of appearing like a leader. His mind was not a repository of knowledge. It was a mirror. Whatever you gave him, whatever you wanted him to be, he reflected back at you. This is faux intimacy. He wasn't just conning them. He was making them like him. Abagnale's mind was a paradox, a pathological need to belong, combined with sociopathic need to be exceptional. He didn't just exploit loopholes in the system. He became the system that people trusted. Part 3. The illusion of greed, Charles Ponzi. The third and perhaps most dangerous principle of deception is not audacity, nor is it identity. It is our own dark, insatiable, and deeply human desire, greed. Charles Ponzi didn't invent anything. He merely perfected an illusion. 1920, Boston. The post-war economy was booming. Ponzi made a simple promise, based on an arbitrage loophole in international postal reply coupons. A 50% return on your investment in just 45 days. It was objectively impossible. But let us turn the psyche lens onto the victims' minds. What did they see? They did not see the word impossible. They only saw the words 50%. This is anchoring bias. That 50% number became the anchor for all their thoughts. It was so large, so enticing, that it blinded them to the risk. Ponzi paid the first handful of investors their promised return. Where did he get the money? From the new investors who came later. This canker created the domino effect. This is the Cialdini principle of social proof. The first person hesitates. The second person doubts. But when the 10th, 20th, and 100th person in your neighborhood cashes out richer than they were yesterday, doubt is replaced by the fear of missing out, FOMO. It also creates a sense of scarcity. This opportunity won't last forever. I have to get in now. Ponzi's mind was not that of a financial genius. He was a public relations genius. He bought a new suit every day. He walked with a luxury cane. He looked like success. People didn't invest in a mathematical formula they didn't understand. They invested in that image. Ponzi wasn't selling them a return on investment. He was selling them the dream of wealth. And that is the one product that never goes out of style. Part 4. The Mark's Mind, Why We Fall for It. Lustig, Ponzi, Abagnale, these names are seen as historical exceptions. But are they? Or are they just reflections of our own most basic, exploitable human vulnerabilities? Why do we fall for it? First, the illusion of control. We believe we are smart. We believe we are in on a secret, that we have found a unique opportunity that others have missed. Con artists don't just sell a product. They sell novelty. They sell us a story that makes us the protagonist, the smart one who found the loophole. Second, the power of narrative. A con artist's greatest tool is a compelling story. They don't sell you stocks. They sell you a story about a revolutionary new company. They don't ask for money. They tell you a story about a personal crisis. They get us emotionally invested. Once we are invested in the story, our logic short-circuits. We are no longer protecting our money. We are trying to help a character we care about. And finally, the gradual escalation. Deception rarely happens all at once. It's a foot-in-the-door technique. It starts with a small request. Just sign this. Just a small deposit. Just meet me for coffee. These small acts of compliance gradually erode our skepticism. By the time the big, audacious request comes, we have already said yes 10 times. We are invested. Conclusion: the fortress of the mind. The chilling truth is that these masterminds did not have to break into our minds. We held the door open. We held it open with our blind, reflexive respect for authority. We held it open with our desperate, human dream of getting rich quick. We held it open with our simple, powerful, and beautiful need to trust. The genius of the con artist is not in their ability to lie. Their genius is in their ability to know exactly what we want to believe. Because the most dangerous manipulator is not the enemy at the gates. It is a desire within, and that fortress can only be guarded by constant critical thought. Thank you for watching. What do you think is the greatest manipulation in the modern world? And where in that manipulation do we fit in? We await your analysis in the comments. Join us next time as we explore another dark labyrinth of the mind.